find out, I'm gonna look, you know, I've got her, I have Twitter and Facebook and all that,
Yes.
but yeah, it's funny, there, I went
The more
actually-
you can learn about the
Yeah.
person you're going to be presenting to, what books has she aged in before, like, because the agent will take this from this person and decide which publishing house it will be most successful at. And if they're not good at picking, they're very soon out of work. You have to think of agents, often are people working on commission. And a big company, yes, they might be on monthly salary, but I bet none of them have contracts that say a few years. But they have annual contracts, agents. Because otherwise they could be, it's expensive to send your agents to a conference. The conference doesn't pay the agent to fly there. It may give them a cheap hotel. I mean, a cheap rate on the hotel, it's a really lovely. But I mean, what I'm saying is it costs the company to send those agents there. So they better get something good, prove that they know how to pick. So you can, that's a good idea, to just study everybody you're gonna talk to, what they've been doing, and the fact that you know something about them, is you don't just walk in there and say, I got the best one. You know, and just sort of rage on about how wonderful we are, or I am. I think it gives a whole different mood to the interaction and how helpful they are.
There's actually a 10, so they have blue pencil sessions and 10-minute pitch sessions. So blue pencil is where they
Look at
your
3
work.
pages of
Yeah,
typing.
you get to sign up for one of each if you go to a conference. So, but I think the pitch session, my sense is that's it's an acquiring editor. I think I'm going to meet with. So my sense is you just pitch your book. But I think
You can have a half page, what we call the 1 minute talk you get on an elevator. You can trap an agent. But it's best not to have more than half a page of print. And I use 14 font. Because just talking to them as people shows how much you know about that and you believe in your story and you're talking to the right person, that you've chosen them well. And you appreciate what they've done in the past with other books. So it is different than the blue pencil. Right, the blue pencil is when you do have 3 pages of typing, and I'd never make it less than 5 point, but you know, really well spacey, that you want people. I know they're speed readers, but the easier you make it with highlighting with bold and an italic print or whatever, some points, but you're trying to have a pleasant interaction with this person so that they remember, gee, I really thought that person was alert and positive. It sort of stands against you if you're too tense or you know, just not really focused in the moment. Because some people start looking over to see who, you're sitting really close sometimes, like there'll be 2 at a table like this. And you're wondering, well, I wonder what's happening to John, and what's happening to Sally. You know, that they can't sort of just really take part in it. Also to be agreeable, because there'll be people there with stopwatches. And they really do. There is a click after your 10 minutes. And there'll be a lineup of people behind you that want that chair. And anyone who thinks that they can crowd in another minute is just going to not help themselves. It's just all common sense in a way, but it's sort of high tension. You can just feel it in the room. I presented there for 3 years, and now I normally just go and volunteer because I see so many people I know from across the country and have fun. But the amount of energy in the room is astounding. I know the first, in '08, there were 800 people, and they had to use another hotel down the block, because the first one, even though it's huge, the Sheraton there, just off of 152, by the highway, was overflowing. They had to start filling in another hotel half a block away. And the reason why it's so popular, and this of course amuses us, I'm sorry, 50% of the people that come are from America. They think Surrey's nice and safe. And Vancouver's even safer, but when you get out to the little places like Surrey, it's better. And they come, you know, depending on where the exchange money is, but they come also because there are film people come up from LA, and because there are those New York and other big city editors there. And so there are people, although there are people in Toronto that come, they're mainly with branch plants, so they're American or British. But there are people there that can really talk to you about your European sales. Now, if you're doing nonfiction on Canada, on ecology things, there's an interest internationally, and in a lot of fiction from Canada, there's interest in Europe. There's lots of people in Europe who just love to live in Vancouver. Whoever wrote that survey that Vancouver was the best place in the world to live, wrecked the house prices. That's
I have a question about Europe. I got a poem published in an anthology that went into the libraries in the UK, Ireland, Australia, and
Right.
New Zealand only. So would I call access copyright about that, or does it
Yes,
apply?
yes,
International?
access copyright doesn't care what country it was published in. Even the public lending right, having a book in a library, the New Westminster Library doesn't care what country it was published in or what countries it's about. They're interested that you live here, and they do collect books by local writers. So interestingly enough, you know, you're a Canadian or you're living in this area as a landed immigrant, and it doesn't matter whether you had your book published elsewhere. So the one is just a question of counting up pages, and the other one is whether your book is in a public library. For the access copyright, it doesn't matter whether it ever went into a library, as long as it was printed and distributed, or it was on a commercial website. Like, not on my own. I could just put 100 poems up there, but it wouldn't help me on my own website.
Has to be printed, like there cannot be a digital copy.
Well, I mean, it has to be a commercial thing. A lot of the websites, what I'm saying is there's digital magazines today. So if people are paying or have some arrangement with their digital magazines, then you could count that page or pages. So it's another question of looking at the fine print. But it has nothing to do with the nationality of the publisher or location or the topic. So, I mean, we have people winning our Governor General Awards for people who had it published in lots of countries, and their story is about someplace. So, only fact that they're a Canadian writer. I mean, I think the person that won the last one is currently studying in Australia, so she was even here to get the award. I mean, but she's a Canadian citizen.
Do they have to have ISBN numbers? Is that the distinction
Um,
between published on the web and published otherwise?
Well, certainly But there has to be some way of showing that it's like public access, publicly used, you know. I mean, any person, any of us could write to the Copyright Office in Ottawa and get 10 ISBN numbers. They give out 10 at a time for free. I have some, because I got them when I did my textbook, but I intended right from the start not to, as a book, to, you know, to do it for profit motive, but so I just never used the rest of them. I always, for some reason, had a publishing company that was interested in doing my poetry, so I never printed any of it myself. But it's still possible. I may get other paper, you never know.
And those pen numbers are associated to those pen numbers that they give you in Ottawa?
Yes, they're under the Waves, which is the literary magazine on that.
I thought that ISBN numbers were allocated to a specific piece of work.
That's what I thought also.
You have to register
Right,
the
but-
book or the
But
anthology or whatever.
but my numbers are called the Waves Waves,
Yeah.
not magazine, just the word Waves is my official legal name as a company, and it does have Bernice on it.
Because I think they want lots of details about the actual book now.
Exactly.
When you actually
Yes,
register.
each one, when you get, I got the numbers, but if I wanted to bring something out, maybe I wanted to do a book of Bowen writers or something, Bowen Island, then I would write to them and tell them I'm using this particular
Yeah,
sequence
so you
of
sort of
numbers.
activate it. You
Yeah.
activate them.
And it is not legally activated until they get 2 copies.
Oh, yeah.
And they're stockpiled, what kind of copying do they do?
They have to have it in Ottawa.
They do a data copier thing of it, it's not the right word. It's some kind of digital tape. But they have 2 actual copies in the National Library in
Yeah, I think
Ottawa.
that's to register it with the Library of Canada. I think the